Welcome, welcome. This is our first call for 2023, and I want to say thank you and hello to everybody who has been with me in the past. I see a lot of familiar faces here, but there are also a lot of new people. We've had hundreds and hundreds, actually quite a few thousands of people in the last month come into our Pain Free Living community. And I just really, from the bottom of my heart, I want to welcome you. I want to say thank you for taking time out of your life to show up here. And you're showing up for yourself because what you may or may not realize is that you have somehow been guided here and found what I believe to be the most leading edge path to pain-free living. And when I say pain, please understand right away, I don't just mean back pain or neck pain or hip pain. People come to my universe for pain of all types. So if you or someone you love has been suffering from physical pain, or you have been suffering from the pain of anxiety, depression, grief, overwhelm, shame, if you have not slept in a decade without a sleeping pill, it's painful. If you have depression, if you have the habit of binge eating, believe me, I know what that's like. It is painful. If you have suffered from digestive trauma, immune weaknesses, viruses, if you just always feel sick or sick and tired, if you're exhausted all the time and you don't know why, and maybe nothing's showing up on a medical test, if you've been told there's nothing we can do for you, you're going to have to learn to live with this, you're in the right place here. I'm talking an umbrella that envelops all types of pain. People have been coming to me for many years that have had migraine headaches and didn't know why. People have come and reported relief from thyroid issues, from all kinds of conditions like tremors and seizures and tumors and cysts and things that they didn't even tell me was going on. They came for some other type of physical pain. And then a lot of other things they ended up reporting stopped in its tracks. So what I want to let you know is that something inside of you guided you to a place where literally everything is possible. I no longer believe in limitations. I haven't for a long, long time. It was revealed to me many decades ago that your body and everything, when you look around the room you're sitting in right now, everything that appears to be physical, solid, isn't physical or solid at all. That everything, and I mean everything that you can see or not see, it's made of energy and light and a particular type of information that's vibrational in nature. Now, why does that matter if your back hurts or if you haven't slept in a decade? I'll tell you why it matters, because your symptoms are also made of pain, not of pain, yes, of pain. Your symptoms are made of energy and light in this vibrational information. And here's the good news. And I want you to write this down so you can let it really sink in deeply and think about it over the next day or two or 10 years. The energy we know from science constantly is able to change form. It's not permanent. Energy never dies, but it changes form all the time. Energy and light and vibration is changeable. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been doing this for decades and I still get so excited. I just want to scream because for me, it was life-changing to find this out. And it's what's been enabled me to help people all over the world. And I never even expected to be doing this kind of work, but I got so passionate when I discovered what is really going on that no one's telling us that is possible. And it changed, it just rocked me to the core. It changed my entire life. It changed my career and everything else. And it makes everything possible. So if you are one of the people who has given up hope, or you're real close, because you've tried everything, you've done everything that any specialist told you to do, you took even prescription drugs, maybe you've had surgery or more than one. Maybe you then went to the natural medicine route and you started doing all the testing and eliminating the foods. You went on the rotation diet, the elimination diet. You started fasting or juicing or water fasting. Maybe you started supplements. Maybe you started patches that were natural. Maybe you've changed your diet completely and your exercise routine. Maybe you started meditating. You might be doing a lot of things, a lot of natural treatments or physical therapy. But if little to nothing has changed, it makes you want to go, what's going on here? Right? I went along that long trail for many years, 14 years. And it was not a happy road. Okay. It was not an easy road. It was not a fun road. It was not a happy road. It was a frustrating, it was an anxious, frustrating path. And, I would flip from feeling very angry and depressed and frustrated to feeling really worried about the future, full of anxiety. How am I going to deal with this if this never stops? Like, what am I going to do? And I had a lot of things, not just one thing. I had digestive trauma. I didn't sleep without either drinking myself till I passed out or some kind of pill. I had no energy. I had aches and pains everywhere that would come and go, and it didn't make sense. Have you ever had that? Like severe pain, but then it leaves and then it comes back and you're like, but I can't figure out why it would come back. What did I eat? What did I not eat? What did I do? Right? And you just drive yourself a little nutty with this because you can't figure it out. And for me, nothing showed up on tests except for my thyroid. And then I took every thyroid thing under the sun that they told me to take, and nothing changed, which makes you want to go, and makes you start to wonder, am I cuckoo? Right? And they don't know what to do for you. They're trying their best to help you. But when they can't find it on a test, they don't know what to say except take this pill and try to go to sleep. Well, I got tired of living like that. And I got very addicted, quite frankly, to a lot of different types of pills. And I was taking something all day long. By the end of my 14-year road, all day long, I was taking some kind of pill and all night long. And I was still not relieved of the suffering or the symptoms. Now, this is enough to make you lose hope. And I don't want you to lose hope, because what was revealed to me was the solution. And although it may sound out there to some of you, it certainly did to me at first. That's why I didn't talk about it for quite a long time, because I grew up in a conventional medical family. And I was very paranoid about being told I was crazy, because I already felt kind of different and crazy from what I had been going through that seemed like nobody else was going through. And I was also always interested in very alternative healthcare, even when I was young. And not that I'm old now, I'm still young, but when I was younger, and my family didn't approve or agree. My father would scream and yell. I went through my vegetarian stage. I went through my vegan stage. I went through my macrobiotic stage. And my father would scream and yell at me, like, you're going to die from lack of protein. Like, he was just furious at all the experiments I was doing on myself. And yet, truth be told, I'm sure some of that really helped me a lot. And so do not beat yourself up for anything you've tried that you think didn't work. Maybe, just maybe, it would be a hell of a lot worse if you hadn't done those things, and that every one of those steps was needed for you to show up on my doorstep. Because, what I'm about to share with you tonight is not what you're hearing every day on social media or the news. Okay. You're not going to hear it or see it, because I have nothing to sell, no kind of pill or potion. What I'm going to talk about may confuse you or surprise you or shake you up a bit, because it's not what you're hearing out there. I'm not going to be talking about food. I'm not going to be telling you to do physical therapy. I'm not going to be saying that you have to find what's broken or wrong or needs fixing in the body. I'm not going to be talking about the body, even though the body is where the symptoms are showing up and the feedback is coming from. So you're probably wondering, some of you will like, what are you going to talk about? Because the body's the problem here. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you're imagining things or making it up. But what I am here to say, and you may want to write this down because you're going to need to think about it if this is a new concept for you. And that is that the invisible realm is the precursor to everything that shows up in the physical, including your body. I'm going to repeat that. The invisible realm that you cannot see, touch, you can't see it. You might think it's imaginary. That's the precursor. That's what shows, that's where it starts. And then it shows up sometimes decades later in the physical realm, meaning your body or some area of your life. Now, as wild as it may sound, everything I'm about to teach you tonight and share with you tonight, it relates to physical health. It also relates to your romance and your finance. It relates to everything, your career, your sense of purpose, your relationships, your job, how much money you have in the bank. Yes, like it's all about energy, vibration, and frequency. Now, thank goodness, more and more, these words are showing up more and more in people's worlds. But I've been talking about it for over 30 years. So you have to remember, it's taking a long time. That's what I mean. The invisible takes some time to show up in the physical, and because it's all about consciousness. Our consciousness is finally getting ready to really hear this message and take it in and start to practice it, work with it, use it. And oh my God, no, I do not want my computer updated right now. We're in the middle of a very important call. Oh my goodness. Okay, if I disappear, I'll be back. So, okay, let's back up. So everything is energy, but energy for most people, you don't see it. You don't touch it. You can't hold on to it. You kind of have this concept that you know there's energy, right? But what the heck is it really? And it's like you turn on that light switch and you know the lights are going to go on, but what really made it go on? And what is it? So when you look out at space, it looks empty. And they say that there's like 99% of space is empty. But what if I said to you, it's not really empty? It's filled with information. This information is invisible to most people's eyes. It is vibrational information. So I'd like you to start to think about it like music. You can't see music when it's playing, can you? Whether it's live or recorded or off your phone or a record player if you still have one, or a tape deck if you have one, or know what that is. It doesn't matter. You're not seeing it, you're hearing it. You're getting some kind of information, right? That your body is perceiving, but you're not seeing that. Now, we know from science that sound is carried in waves. It transfers through invisible space from somewhere to you, so you hear it. Okay, you're with me? Guess what? Healing frequencies, healing vibrations that are also everywhere present in the cosmos that no one's teaching you or telling you about, also is transferred via waves. They are just like sound waves. They are sound waves. And they have a healing effect if you know how to access them, which most people don't know how to do. But that's why I'm here to help you, because I discovered that this information is available 24/7. I tapped into it. Gosh, it's been over 35 years ago now. Hard to believe. Like, I don't even know where all that time has gone. But I tapped into it accidentally when I crashed and burned in my own health journey. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting to find out about this. I wasn't even interested in this kind of thing, nor was I interested at all in science. That was a class I wanted to skip all the time. It just didn't, I could care less about science. And I didn't even discover the science that backs up what I experienced for quite a number of years. But now I understand. All the new science is explaining what a lot of this spiritual healing has been talking about for centuries, that I experienced firsthand during a meditation that I didn't expect to experience. And I'll share explicitly what I mean by that. So once I crashed and burned, I couldn't function the way I normally did. You know, I was very high functioning while I was sick, and I was able to work until I wasn't. And I finally just couldn't keep it up any longer. I had no energy and was terrified and was shaking from the lovely pills that I needed to get off of, and couldn't think straight and couldn't even tie my own shoes at that point. So basically, I spent quite a bit of time in the beginning in nature, meditating, sleeping, drinking water and nothing else, and writing. And, you know, it's funny. We think of these simple things as like, oh, I'll do that when I have time, instead of recognizing these are the most powerful healing tools there are. Getting quiet every day, being in nature, meditating, listening inside, writing what's going on inside of you, writing it down, sharing it with someone you trust, being heard, being unconditionally allowed to be yourself, and not being driven by some conditioned ideas of who you should be and what you should be doing every day. I think everyone really should be taking some kind of time for these simple things regularly in their lives, not once every 30 years. There's a strong healing effect from nature. I bet you've all experienced it. Has anybody ever felt worse after going to the beach or walking in the woods? No, you feel better. You feel invigorated. Why? I'll tell you why. Because the earth emits a frequency. It's a healing frequency. And when you're exposed to it, it affects your nervous system, your immune system, every organ in your body, the way you think, feel, and act. These frequencies that are just now starting to be talked about, and there's research on them, but you haven't seen them on mainstream anything. They're everywhere present. They're free. They are accessible, and they affect us in every way. So I got really sick. I spent more time meditating, and it was shown to me in meditation how everything is vibrating, including the walls, including your body, including the computer, the floor, the chair, the desk, like everything's vibrating at a particular frequency. And that everything you're exposed to and experiencing, whether it's a person, a podcast, a pill, doesn't matter what it is, it all carries information. And that information is either disturbing you and putting you in dis-ease, or healing you and putting you in ease, which, by the way, is your natural state. Your natural state is not disease. It is not natural to be in dis-ease. If you have been in dis-ease for a long time, don't beat yourself up. The world has basically accepted, the majority of the people in our world has accepted that disease is natural. It's going to happen. As you age, of course, it's going to get worse, and that it's unavoidable. I'm here to challenge that. I don't buy it, because I've worked with people of all ages, from in the womb to in their 90s. And I have seen everything under the sun change for the better. Even people who had had decades of fibromyalgia, arthritis, insomnia, all types of digestive disorders, hadn't slept literally in years. People with every condition under the sun. I'm telling you, I've seen people who had seizures every day of their life. And I worked with them one time and those seizures stopped and they never had them again. Now, you want to explain that to me? You want to tell me that it's impossible to heal? I don't buy it. And this is why, ever since I started to discover this, and it was shown to me that everything's vibration and it can change when you harmonize the vibration and you stabilize that. Think about music. Some of you will remember, you remember when you had a TV, a television, they had an antenna, and if there was static and the picture was fuzzy, you would walk over and you would fix the antenna so that it made the picture get into better focus. Anybody remember that? I'm sure you do. Or you had a radio where you were trying to listen to the music, but it was just not clear, and you would fidget with the dial. Well, what's that dial doing? It's tuning it into the right frequency so that you could hear the music in tune really well. Your body is an instrument. And I mean that in a literal way. And you're picking up frequencies all the time from various things, actually from everything and everyone. You get information from food. You get information from devices like, cell phones and computers, from electricity. You get information from your next door neighbors, from your children, from the podcasts you watch, from books you read, from the news. You get information and vibrational information. It's all vibrational information from people, places, things, and events. Energy never dies. So guess what happens? It lingers in spaces. If you've ever walked into someone's home and go, oh my God, what's been going on here? You can feel it, whether it's been a party or a bad argument and no one's talking about it. You can feel it, right? We jokingly say, oh, that person has bad vibes. It's the vibration that you are feeling. Because please write this down, your body is a feedback machine for vibrations, for frequencies. Your body is giving you feedback. Your body is not your enemy. It's giving you feedback from all the information that you are getting every single day, all day long. And guess what? It records all the information from your whole life, including when you were in the womb, and perhaps even before that, but we'll just talk about from the womb on. You've recorded all the information that you've been exposed to. That means, for example, if you were in the womb and your mother was super anxious or had a really rough pregnancy or was in the middle of a divorce or had a car accident or whatever, just was highly emotional, you were feeling, sensing, and imprinting that information. And remember, water is the greatest carrier of information. They've done all kinds of studies with water and vibration and frequency. And water, the structure of water changes when it's exposed to different frequencies, including speech, sound, music, voice, words. We take so for granted every word that we say and take in, and yet it's vibration. It's the purest vibration there is. Everything that you say is a vibration, and you're basically giving an instruction manual to your own cells. And yet most people do not take the time to examine what comes out of their mouth. And so I work with people every day, all day. And you know what I hear? I hear this: Deborah, what did someone say to me earlier today? I've been, what did she say? I can't remember, sorry, but it was something like, I've been diseased since I came out of the womb, something like that, like a really strong statement of, I've been sick my whole life, and every doctor I've been to has told me this is just the way it's going to be. People tell me every day, I'm hopeless. I'm a hopeless case. I'm cursed. They say things like, well, it must be my karma. I must have done something really bad to deserve this. People say to me, my parents or my mother or my father had this, so of course I would have this. They say to me, well, my doctors have told me that this condition is permanent. There's nothing that can be done for it. Mark my words, your words are having an impact. They are a vibrational frequency. And you're talking to yourself with the things that you don't want. And you're imprinting in your mind, body, and energy field what you don't want every time you do this. And we know from science, the average person is thinking 90,000 thoughts a day. And many of those thoughts come out as words. And thoughts are nothing but silent words, but they still carry a vibration. It's just more subtle than the spoken word. But if you're thinking that 90,000 times a day, it's going to have an impact. Who's with me? Somebody give me a thumbs up, a hand, a love, wave, nod your head, something. Let me know you're with me here. Don't gloss over this. This is the most important thing you could hear me say. If you're waiting for some magic wand that I'm going to do and tell you to like turn around 3 times and wave your hand, no. What I'm telling you right now, these are the keys to pain-free living. Please stay with me. It may not be what I share, it may not be what you expected, but stay with me. Because everything's energy, and subtle energy cannot be seen by most people or heard by most people, that doesn't mean it's not having an impact on your health. And subtle energy, unless you're in a subtle energy research lab, there's no equipment in the medical world that measures the subtle energy field around your body. When was the last time you went to a subtle energy research lab for your back pain or your thyroid or your digestive drama? You see? So we have a problem. There's a disconnect between what's going on, how it gets measured, and who's got the measuring stick, and the popular way of thinking about health. It's missing each other. There's an energy field, just like a magnet has a field around it, your body has a field around it. It's really not separate from you. It's an extension that goes beyond your skin, that's more subtle, and that's why you can't see it. When something's vibrating so fast, it becomes more subtle. You can't see it. Your body you can see and touch because it's a slower, denser vibration. Your body is a field. Your body is an information field. And it's carrying the information from your life, from everything you've experienced in your life or lifetimes. It is your body, what shows up in the body is the combination of your beliefs, your habits of thought, the emotions that you've experienced or been exposed to, and things like food and electromagnetics and all of this other stuff that's environmental. But the 2 things we talk about the least, well, the 3 things, are your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, and your energy field. Those are the 3 most important keys to health and pain-free living, and they're the 3 least talked about. Now, it's become a little more popular to talk about beliefs. But if all you do is look at your beliefs and try to sort that out, you're missing what I have come to discover are the two stronger areas. And you actually have to look at all three together within a shorter time frame if you really want to heal. This is why some of you have been exposed to belief clearing techniques. I've worked with a lot of people who said, well, I know about belief clearing. That's not new, Deborah. No, it's not new, but it's only one piece of the puzzle. And many people don't heal because that's the only piece they do. And it is not, you can't just do the one piece. The second thing I hear a lot is people say, well, I've tried energy healing. I've done Reiki or some other form of energy healing. And it was relaxing, but it didn't heal my XYZ. Well, a couple things. The form of energy healing that I provide is different than anything else out there that I'm aware of, that I've studied or practiced or been exposed to and received. And more importantly, if all you do is energy healing, which a lot of people, that's all they want to do. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to look at it. They don't want to feel it. They don't want to go back into the past trauma. They don't want, and I don't blame you. I'll talk about that in a minute. But they just want to do energy healing, and they believe it's possible, and they believe it can be faster, which it is. But if all you do is energy healing, what I discovered over many years, because see, in the early days of my private practice, all I did was do the energy healing, my method of healing, which now we call high-speed healing. And there was a percentage of people that would call me a week, a month, a decade later and say, Deborah, you helped me so much, but now it's back. Why is it back? And in every single case, I sat down with these people because I wanted to know why it came back. And you know what I found? It was one of two things, or both. It was either a belief that was really causing at the root the pain and the symptoms to come back. And it was a false belief, but they didn't know it. Or it was emotions that they either denied, suppressed, repressed, or pretended, oh no, I've let that go. If I had a nickel for every person that said, oh, I let that go, but they thought they let it go, but they didn't. Emotions are like putting gas in a car. It makes the car run. And when you have emotions that you don't want to feel, don't like to feel, don't feel at all ever, which a lot of people, that's the story. They don't feel them ever. That was my story and I didn't know it. Emotions emit strong frequencies. And these frequencies, they wreak havoc with your immune system, with your nervous system, with certain organs. They disrupt your hormones, which affect sleep, digestion, elimination, weight. Those of you, people come to me all the time and they say, I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't lose weight no matter what I do. And I over-exercise and I'm starving to death and nothing works. It's usually due to emotions. And that's not what's being checked when you go to get a checkup. Where do you go to check up your emotions? When you take your car and we're going to hook it up to the diagnostic machine. Where do you go to check your emotions? Nowhere. That's the problem. So also we live in a culture that says it's very weak and immature and unprofessional to allow emotions to come up, particularly if you're a man or if you're a woman in the workforce. So most people, to some degree or to a large degree, are shoving emotions underground. And eventually that will come out sideways as a symptom. And so you have to understand, I'm not suggesting you cry all day long at work or you blow up your rage at everybody. What I teach is a method for release, for first of all, finding what you do with those emotions to begin with, because you need to understand it's energy, and energy goes somewhere. And if it's not going out, it's going in, and it's staying in. And guess what is the most exhausting thing under the sun? It's trying to hold down strong emotions for a decade or 2 or 10. Think about a hose, a water hose, that you water the lawn with. And all of a sudden you turn the water on at the faucet and it's pouring through that hose. And all of a sudden you start squeezing the hose so that the water cannot come out the nozzle. And you squeeze it. What happens? The hose starts to bulge and bulge and bulge, and eventually it will burst and you will have no hose. That's like emotions. The energy has to come out at some point. And interestingly enough, I've worked with quite a few people who had like these very mysterious cases of nonstop vomiting or diarrhea or both, or skin rashes, and there was nothing showing up on a test, or these eruptions, these skin eruptions, they're called, or ulcers, and can't digest food and can't sleep at night and get tension and headaches and knots in their shoulder. Like I could go on and on, but they're directly related. And everything, every form of disease has an emotional component, every bit of it. So I'm not saying it's the only thing we have to deal with, but it's really, really important, and it's the most overlooked. And like I said, if you go back to even the birth experience, I've had worked with a lot of people who released their birth experience and discovered it was very, very traumatic for them, but it wasn't theirs. It was their mother's. And they were actually picking up on all the emotions that their mother had been struggling with. And they brought it into their own because, see, the first early years of life between birth and age about 8 or 9, you're one with your mother's emotional climate. The environment that you're literally soaking in before and after birth, it's imprinting you in a big way. And your brain is not developed enough to know the difference between what's true, what's false, what's going to help me, what's going to hurt me. It's just picking up like a big antenna, everything, and it's feeling it. And it's imprinting it in your energy field. And the energy field is what's talking to the body. Think about it, just logically. Whatever's in the space around you, it enters your space. Remember what I said, there's a subtle field. It goes out like 40 feet, but you can't see it. And it's picking up all this information, and it takes time for that information to come closer and closer, and it ends up showing up in the physical. Are you with me? Yes, maybe, kind of. So we now know from science, and we've actually known a long time, but the information just hasn't gotten out, that the field can be photographed. There's some really very cool equipment that comes out of Japan and Russia that I've been in science labs and been, I've worked on people where they hooked people up, they've hooked me up to see what was going on and what was happening. And it is black and white evident that the energy healing method that I provide immediately shows on the graphs an immediate difference, like a night and day difference. In fact, even just when I enter the room, when they measure people before I even enter the room, the graph goes from down here and just spikes way up to, like, there's an immediate measurable change because I've been doing this a long time. So these frequencies now, I carry them 24/7. Some of you probably right now are feeling something just hearing my voice, because remember what I said, the voice is vibration. Many people will go to my website or listen to a recorded podcast or an interview, or some people even just see my picture and they say, Deborah, I went into this weird meditative healing experience. And I'm like, it isn't weird. It's physics. You began to resonate with me and with the vibrations that I bring in that you needed. And it started to affect you in a positive way. So some of you may be feeling it now. If you can't keep your eyes open and you're trying to listen to me, but really what you want to do is lie down and just close your eyes. If that's you, I recommend just lie down and close your eyes because you're getting what you need and it is not left brain linear information. And you can go back to this recording, which we'll send out tomorrow, and you can listen to that left brain linear information and get it in your left brain another day. Right now, you're getting the right brain activated. The right side of the brain stimulates creativity, emotions, productivity, athletic ability, and very interesting, your parasympathetic nervous system, which is also known as the relaxation response or the rest and digest. In order to feel comfortable, at ease, and pain-free, your parasympathetic nervous system has to be working. That's what makes you feel relaxed and at ease. Now, here's something else I really, really want you to listen closely and hear today. The feeling of being safe or not feeling safe is connected to ease or dis-ease. It's connected to health and or disease. It's very rare if someone has had any type of chronic condition or chronic pain or an accident or an injury that just you never feel quite like yourself again. Your nervous system went into overdrive. That's the sympathetic nervous system. We have two parts, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. And we want to get you into the parasympathetic, which is where you relax. But when you don't have the right methods and you don't know how to calm down on your own and you can't think yourself into calm because you're actually scared to death from something that maybe even happened decades ago, but your body imprinted that information to try to protect you and keep you safe from danger. We're wired that way. The brain's wired to keep you alive. So you know what it does? If some actual thing happened that was dangerous or you interpreted it as danger, you could have been 1 day old. You don't know danger from no danger, but you felt it instinctually. You were wired to go red alert. And I have worked with so many people who had that red alert turned on and never turned off. And it could be 60, 70 years later. And a 6-year-old is running their life because they never got that pattern interrupted and harmonized. That's what we do here is we interrupt. It's a pattern you've got running, whatever it is that you've been given all these lovely labels, Lyme disease, whatever, fibromyalgia. These are labels for patterns. These are vibrational patterns. If you would just for today, suspend the label and realize if you don't like the music, tune the tuner and it sounds better. So if you don't like the label, drop the label. Let's look at the pattern, harmonize it, and then stabilize it, and then learn to maintain it. And that involves the mind, the emotions, and the energy field. So these imprints happen immediately. And then you start gathering more and more information throughout your whole life. And all of it is recorded in your energy field. Your energy field is a recording device. Literally, everything that's ever happened to you can be found in your field. This field has actually been, there's a term for it. Now, it's been called the Biofield, Biofield. That was the term given to it by the National Institute of Health in the 1990s, early 90s. But I'd like to share with you that before that name came about, the physicists that discovered this field, before the NIH gave it the name, actually gave it a different name. It was known as an information field, from the Latin word informare, which means to inform. Now, why would they choose that name? Because they discovered that the field informs the body, which is what I've been talking about today. The information comes into the subtle field. You don't see it happening. You just went to grandma's for dinner. And then all of a sudden, you heard the yelling and the screaming. You heard the pans crashing. You're imprinting that. That information is talking to you, to the cells, the nervous system, to everything. You grew up in a house where when you came home, no one was there. Or you came home and there was violence, or there was abuse, or there was neglect, or there was addiction, or you went to school and you got bullied, or you later in life had an accident, an injury, a surgery that went bad. Or maybe it wasn't even you. Maybe it was the people around you, your father, your mother. Something happened that was shocking. And before you could even recover from that, something else may have happened, wave upon wave. I see this a lot, where if there's a little stress, we're designed to recover. But when you get hit with a wave of stress, and just when you're ready to come up and take that breath of air, another wave smashes you in the face. This is what I see. And anyone who typically I've worked with has had 1 to 2 year period where there was a wave or 2 or 10, that's where I see a lot of serious conditions show up. And they, and it doesn't have to be dramatic like that, but it often is. So what has to happen is we have to get back to that 0 point, that calm state of ease again. And the fastest, safest way without a pill that just suppresses a symptom, which I don't even want to go there because I get too upset and it messes up my energy field. But really, no, I've just found the path where, and again, I want to be very clear. I'm not here to give you medical advice. I'm not telling you to stop your whatever advice you've been given. This is used as an adjunct until you don't need whatever, or you're told by your healthcare practitioner or your doctor, you do this, you can do this together with anything else you've been told you need to do. You don't have to just stop everything. That may not be the smartest decision. So you need to get everything checked out, but you can safely, without any drugs or supplements, do the energy portion and learn the other self-care tools that I teach. And you do this along with anything else that you've been doing. And almost everyone that I've worked with ends up off their meds, or many times they avoid the surgeries. They start to sleep at night. I hear it every day. People with 30 years of fibromyalgia, done. No pain, no patches, no anti-inflammatory anything. They are done with it. It's when something's genuinely healed, it's gone. When people who have been binge eating for 17 years don't binge eat anymore, when people who couldn't lift a pillow without it being so painful that they would need a pain pill to lift a pillow, I'm not exaggerating. I have this on film with one woman that I was invited to work on in a documentary film that oh my goodness, she was a dance teacher that had to stop working because the pain was so bad just to lift a pillow. And it took her 5 minutes to prepare to stand up if she had been sitting or lying down. It was so painful. Her meds were $30,000. In less than 40 minutes being filmed for the very first time that she was experiencing my high-speed energy healing, she stood up and down about 30 times nonstop with a smile on her face with no pain. She lifted a pillow so many times, with a look on her face like, how is this even possible? See, she wasn't expecting it to really work. She wanted it to work, but she didn't really expect it would work. This is the kind of thing that is possible if you're willing to expand your mind into the quantum and recognize that the quantum physics world does not operate on the same laws as the 3D world that we are taught. is the only way. It's not the only way. It's not the only way. So the fastest way, the safest way, and the non-drug way is to work with this at the quantum level. And I don't like to use that word because it's thrown around a lot and people just start thinking Star Trek and all this stuff. And it quite frankly, I don't like it. So I don't usually say it that way, but I felt like I needed to tonight. But really what I'm talking about is the invisible energetic realm, which we know is there and is everywhere present. And this is the key to health. This is the missing key to both health and sickness. Now remember, your thoughts and your emotions are invisible. They are subtle energy. They are vibration, which gives you a lot more power than you've probably learned that you had. And it's influencing your health every moment of every day. So I know there's a lot of comments in the chat and you probably have questions, but I want to take a break because I've been nonstop talking. And I want to give you a moment to just close your eyes and get quiet and go inside instead of outside for once. So I want you to go inside yourself. And I want you to notice right now, as you've been hearing all this, how do you feel? What are you sensing? Close your eyes. Don't look at me. Go into yourself. What's going on in there? That's the most important place you could ever visit. What do you feel? What do you notice? Do you sense a vibration? Do you feel different sensations? Are you listening to yourself talk to yourself? Are you seeing pictures, images, colors? What do you see something? Do you notice a scent, a fragrance? See, you're getting a lot of information all the time that you may not be used to looking for. As you go inside your body, where do you notice it's talking to you, trying to get your attention? Take 1 minute right now and just be with yourself, your inner self, and listen and notice what you notice. Feel what you feel. See what you see. Hear what you hear. Now take a deep, long breath all the way in and open your mouth and let out a big sigh and let it all go now. Everything you think you know, let it go. All right. Please give me a reaction. If you go to the bottom toolbar, if you're new to this, you can give me a heart. You could give me a thumbs up. You could give me a clap. You could give me another heart, but give me some kind of reaction to let me know that you saw, felt, heard, sensed something inside yourself. How many of you, who of you saw, heard, felt, sensed something inside yourself? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to check on the chat and answer some questions. I want to ask you all to stay with me because if you are resonating with this message, and look, I know it's not for everybody, but if you are, I'm going to be, towards the end of the call, inviting you to join me and spend the entire day with me coming up in just a few weeks, couple weeks, and in January. And on that day, I'm going to provide you with 2 full energy healing sessions. And I'm going to reveal to you what I have found are the top 14 key, hidden, invisible reasons for all pain patterns, symptoms, and suffering, so that you can stop searching and driving yourself crazy all night trying to figure this out. I'm going to give it to you. You're going to find yourself on that list. And I'm going to be helping people all day long from all over the world. And I'm going to share with you how you can participate in that if you would like. So stay with me here. But let me go to the chat here. So, let's see. You're welcome to post questions, by the way, in the chat now. So Mary said something interesting here, which is that lack of forgiving is a biggie, and that emotions are often considered results instead of causes. See, this is key to understand. Most people think the opposite. They see the body as the cause, and then the body's making you feel a certain way, which it is. Okay, it's a revolving door, but it actually starts with thoughts. Thoughts create emotional reactions to the thoughts, and we're thinking beings, 90,000 a day. Whether you like it or not, everyone's doing this. Your mind is designed to think. We are the creatures on this planet that think more than any other creature. And it's not going to change, nor is it supposed to. Like, we are thinking beings. But those thoughts generate an emotional reaction, and the emotions generate more thoughts. And you can get stuck round and round in a revolving door of very negative, low vibe, nasty frequencies that then are talking and blasting your energy field, which is talking to your body. This is how it really works. It's the subtle energy flows into and becomes physical. It's not the other way around, but you're not hearing this. So the focus all the time is, well, where does it hurt? What's wrong? And then we look at the body and we try to find the broken, missing car part. But it doesn't work that way. And that's why many things do not show up on tests, because it's actually in the field and you're experiencing it, but it hasn't shown up and physically manifested yet. What if we could catch it 10 years before it showed up? Wouldn't you like that? I would. All right. So that was great comment, Mary. Thank you for that. Well, and then Mary said, but you still need the why. Quite frankly, you don't really need the why. The why is the booby prize. I'm not saying the why is not interesting or important. There's something to be learned from it, yes. But the why doesn't change a darn thing. And this is where a lot of people get stuck. They are obsessed with why do I have this? Why? Even if I told you why, is that going to change it? For a very minute portion of the population, once they understand why, it will shift. It is not the majority, let me tell you. You have to learn to release and make certain changes in the way you're thinking. You have a habit of thinking that needs, I'll tell you what was told to me. My first mentor said, Deborah, I was always complaining, my mind is never quiet. It's just constantly, there's constant chatter up there, and there's a shitty committee, and they're never let up on me. And my mentor said, well, Deborah, your brain needs a washing. And, I never thought of it that way, but I needed to like wash it out, literally. Because the way I was continuing to generate thoughts was polluted. And it was polluting me physically and emotionally. So we have to get our minds right. And then we have to learn how to release the emotions. And this is where most people get hung up, because they don't like to feel, or they're afraid. If they start feeling those feelings from the trauma, or from the this, or from that horrible mother or stepmother, or whatever happened, the boyfriend, that they'll never stop feeling that feeling that they hate. They're afraid they'll get out of control, they'll feel vulnerable. They won't be able to function. They won't be able to pay their bills and feed their kids. So they don't want to feel it. They just say, I'm leaving it over there, or I forget, or, oh, I let go of that, or, oh, let's put it in the past, or I forgave them. I will share today, one of the biggest reasons that's on that list of 14 things, if that I have found with chronic pain in particular, but it can relate to everything, not just physical pain, is that people think they have forgiven something or someone. And you know what they really did? They skipped right over the anger. They jumped right over the shame or the guilt or the remorse. And they said, oh, I forgave it. I forgave them. You know what they did? They never felt it. And when you don't feel it, it doesn't heal. In order to heal, you must learn to feel. Now, that does not mean you're going to spend the next 10 years in your living room crying your eyes out or punching a pillow. That's not how it works in my universe. So I want you to understand there's a new way here, and you're not going to get stuck in that emotion that you don't like for very long. And you're going to lose the fear of emotions because they last on average 90 seconds. This is science. They have found the average emotion lasts 90 seconds. You could handle any emotion for 90 seconds. We all could. And you know why they last longer? Because you're not willing to feel them and you don't know how to let them come up and release. And that's what I teach. That's what I'm going to be teaching in a couple of weeks that I want you to learn. All right, let me go back to the chat here. Well, Tanya, your comment comes from a victim mentality. And that, unfortunately, is the common mentality on planet Earth, that we're a victim, or that God doesn't want us to, for some reason, be happy and free and joyous and healthy. And unfortunately, that's a sad misunderstanding of both God and how the mind works and how beliefs work. And so it does take willingness. It may not go according to your time frame. It may take some consistent work over time. And people tend to go up and down because I want what I want when I want it. Anybody around here but me got an ego? I got a big one. I had a bigger one. And I wanted what I wanted when I wanted it. And I had 2-year-old temper tantrums about it a lot. And that gets very discouraging because it didn't happen in my time frame. And people didn't change in my time frame, and people didn't do what I wanted them to do, and they needed to change, for God's sake, so I could be happy. And the list goes on and on. These are the reasons we get stuck. So it's good to question all this, but it's usually something we're doing that's participating in the problem that we're not aware that we are doing, that's contributing to the pain pattern. So it has to be cleared. It has to be replaced. Yes, Mary. It has to be something that's believable to you. This idea that's popular now about affirmations and positive affirmations. You can't just, this is why people come to me and they've done the law of attraction work and they say it didn't work. They say, I've been saying this affirmation for decades and I'm not a millionaire and I don't feel healthy, happy, and terrific. Because you're bypassing the truth that you really believe and the feelings that you really feel. And so if you have a wound, an open wound, and you never clean it out, and you just slap some dirty Band-Aid on it, it's going to get infected. It's not going to heal. You're no different. If your mind is infected with moldy, diseased beliefs, if your emotions are a certain vibrational frequency and you just really feel that when you're honest, but all day you say, I'm happy, healthy, and terrific. I'm happy. I did that for decades. It didn't do a darn thing except make me feel inauthentic and like something was really wrong with me because nothing changed. So there's a method to my madness, and I can't teach it all in an hour, but believe me, this is what has to happen. We have to work with the mind, the emotions, and the energy field all together. And sometimes you need an expert's eyes, ears, and intuition on you and you alone, because you just get stuck in a very dysfunctional way of thinking that will keep you feeling like there's something wrong with you, or like you're being, my father used to say, my father thought he was cursed. He genuinely believed that. And because of that limiting belief, he became unwilling to try some new things that would have maybe helped him. So you need to be very careful about the ideas that you accept and buy into. All right. And another comment, I first realized how much tension I had, and then I relaxed and my right hand was pulsating a lot. Yes, that's the energy side of receiving. Well, sorry, no, that's your giving side. But you were feeling the largest energy centers in your body are the palms of your hands. So you were feeling the energy center. That's very interesting. Let's see, what else do we have here? Difficulty with motivation leading to compulsive behavior. Can this be tuned correctly? Yes, in fact, yesterday I have my main advanced program is known as the Pain Free Living program. And yesterday, the topic of the talk in there was about motivation and why these New Year's resolutions are for the birds and they don't stick, and how to really genuinely motivate yourself in order to move forward instead of making this big grand Hollywood moment resolution on Monday, January 1st, and by the 7th saying, what the hell, it doesn't work anyway, I'm going to eat the cookies. You know, just we haven't learned to motivate ourselves from a positive. Most people motivate from a negative, from what they dislike, don't want, fear, hate. This doesn't work. Love is the vibration, my friends, that we all need to line up with for everything. Love is the answer. And that sounds corny and like a Hallmark card. I know, but it is the truth. It's a vibration. And it's not, I don't mean the gushy feeling. It's a vibration that holds all power. And when we line up with it and we learn what that really means and how to use it, we move forward consistently, a step at a time, sometimes a quantum leap at a time. That is possible, yes. But most people are running away from what they don't like, and they don't know how to just move forward into what they want. This is a big difference in motivation. Derek is asking, how do you deal with negative people or situations or triggers that can upset you if it's a negative person? I've been through bullying as well when I was a kid, and I still get the trauma response. So first you have to recognize you cannot change other people who don't want to be changed. It is important, and you know, this question really needs an entire class to go into it properly. It's not a one sentence answer. So I'm going to very briefly just say that you can't change other people who do not want to change. What you have to start to recognize is that you can change your own thinking about anything and anyone. And if you change your thinking, you will feel differently. You're getting triggered because your response comes from your thoughts about what's happening to you. You also have choices that we all have choices, and we make choices about who we spend our time and energy with. And what I see again and again is people letting in, making the choice to let in someone that's not healthy for them, or an activity, or a food, or whatever that's not healthy for them. They let it in, they choose it. But in general, the biggest thing you can realize is that what people do are not about you, it's about them. People say and do and act based on their own inner reality. It is not about you, my friend. Don't give yourself so much credit. When people act ugly, it's because they feel ugly on the inside. But if you take it personally and you think, and you try to either fight it or you judge them for it, or you think, ugh, I'm bad, or nobody loves me or likes me. See, this is your belief system. It's not about them. Nothing means anything except for the meaning I give it. Think about that over the next week or two. Nothing means anything except for the meaning I give it. All right, I want to share with you real quickly because we're running out of time. Although there is no time and it never runs out. I want to share today that on January 23rd, which is a Monday, I am excited that I'm going to do something I have not done in a long time, which is called my Day of Healing. It's the Day of High-Speed Healing Immersion. It's literally that, where you get immersed in the energy field that I'm talking about, of total immersion for an entire day, where we start to examine these deeper hidden reasons that don't and won't show up on medical tests, that are confusing the heck out of you, that are causing you to toss and turn at night, trying to figure it out, Dr. Google it one more time. We're going to go much deeper than symptoms. And during the day, I'm going to be taking, first, in the morning, we break it up into two parts. There's a morning section, an afternoon, evening section, and then a break in between where you have homework to do. And this is all live. It's all on Zoom. And you are welcome. Actually, let's see. We don't turn our cameras on. I like to try and keep it very safe so people feel really safe to share. And it's just audio only. And so we keep it audio only, and people feel safer that way a lot of times. So I'll be taking callers though, and questions, and we'll have more time to go deeper with questions. And then I work with people live on the call. And when I work with one person, it applies to everybody, and you'll be able to follow along and plug in your own symptoms and go deeper with me to start this process of releasing that you keep hearing me talk about. It's all about learning how to release the mental beliefs, the emotions, and then here's what some people just come for this. Both in the morning and in the late afternoon, I'm going to do a high-speed energy healing session, 2 full sessions in one day. This is not what I normally do. Anywhere else, I don't do this. But I found that, look, everyone's busy. I'm the type of person that wants to sort of do it all at once as fast as I can and then let it digest. I eat like that too, which I don't recommend. And the Day of Healing is a way, if you are busy or you like the intensity of that kind of a thing, you'll get a lot in one day. It's kind of like the all you can eat brunch kind of thing. You're going to get the whole menu and you'll get it all in one day. And then you can go back and you'll have 7 days access to the recording, which we send out the next day. And you can go back over and over the different parts of it, or the healing sessions, or what I teach you. It's a powerful day. It's life-changing for a lot of people. And you will experience for yourself. It's more experiential than me just teaching all day. I really like to have you interactive all day long. So you're going to receive 2 healing sessions, one in the morning, one in the late afternoon. This day is designed for any and every type of pain, pattern, symptom. It doesn't matter if you have relationship challenges, if you were abused as a child, if you have back pain, any type of physical pain, chronic pain, if you just had a car accident and you're hurting from that last week, if you have digestive issues, if you have any type of symptom or condition, whether it's mysterious or you know what it is, but you want help energetically, and you want to explore the mental, emotional aspects, this is the Day of Healings for you. It's not just the physical pain. So I use the word pain, but everybody fits under the umbrella. And It's January 23rd, and I'm offering it to you for the next 48 hours at half off. It's my New Year's present to you. And so I'm going to put the link in the, hang on, let me type the link, or if you're listening to the recording, you want to go to internationalcpi.com/DOHPS. It's in the chat, internationalcpi.com/DOH, Day of Healing, PS, perfect success. And once you click on that, you'll have 48 hours to make a decision. And after that, it's going back to the full price. So take advantage of that. I would love to, I try to make something every year super affordable so that everybody can participate. The more, the merrier. You're going to feel the energy. Talk about feeling subtle energy. It's not subtle. You can feel the energy of the people in the group and everybody's intention to want to heal, and to, that when you're with a group of people who understand that the quantum, this biofield is like so exciting, it's palpable, and it fortifies your belief, and it makes you realize you're not alone. You're not alone. There are millions of people now getting this. And I've had the privilege of working with so many of them. Now it's on our list. We have over 160 countries. There are countries I didn't even know existed, these names of countries. And it's really exciting. I mean, when you get an email from someone in Tanzania, for God's sake, telling you, wow, energy field, like, to me, there's nothing better than that. To realize this is reaching the far corners of the earth. This is not just a California thing, okay? So please, if it's new, even if it sounds weird, even if you're skeptical, you're welcome to attend. I welcome all skeptics. In fact, I think you sometimes get the greater results because you're not attached, because you don't really think something's going to help. And oftentimes what's ironic, it's the people who are the energy healers or the practitioners that come and they say, well, I believe in this and I know it works and I want this and this and this to happen. And then they don't get an effect. The more attached you are to a specific outcome, you basically lock up the possibilities. It's a delicate dance, and I'll explain this more on the Day of Healing, but really, you need to be clear about what you want and be open to what happens that may not be what you want. Because most people don't really recognize what is the root cause, first of all. They're focused on a symptom, and the symptom is never the root cause. And number two, they're fixated on that symptom because it doesn't feel good. And so they're putting energy into it, and that makes them not quite as open to noticing everything else that's going on, or that's trying to get their attention to give them some information that they need. So I'll talk a lot about this more on the Day of Healing. Any questions about the Day of Healing, feel free to type them in the chat. I saw a hand up, I think, but I think it went down. Let's see. All right, let's see. So, yeah, so anyway, we split it up into two parts on that day. We start at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, and then we go till 12:30, but I never end on time. It always runs over. So think of it about from 10:30 to maybe 1 o'clock Pacific. And like I said, it's live. This is not recorded. It's me live, interactive. And then we take a break, but at the break, I send you a written assignment and another assignment that you're going to want to do right away if you can, because a lot's going to get stirred up in the morning for you. And you're going to start to realize some things that you didn't realize before. And then I want you to do some writing and answer some questions and do some meditation on that. Then we come back at 5 p.m. Pacific until at least 7:30. And like I said, 2 full healing sessions. I designed it this way so no matter where you live in the world, either the morning or the afternoon. One of those will be where it's not in the middle of the night for you. So hopefully, even if you can only come for part of the day, that's fine. We don't turn the cameras on, so a lot of times you can be in your PJs and no one will know. Just keep the camera off. But we record the entire day. So even if you can't attend live at all, you can get 7 days access the very next day to the entire thing. You don't need to be there live to benefit. Some people prefer the recordings. A lot of people just want the recording. So whatever is your jam, there's something for you. And by the way, it's not just for first timers. This is a great tune-up for those of you who have done my work before and who maybe just, I haven't seen you in a year or 2 or 3 or whatever, and you want a tune-up. This is a great way to, how you update your lovely iPhone? Well, our bodies need updating, frequency updates. This is why we need to be in nature, and people don't spend enough time in nature. So you'll get the frequency updates on the day of healing. So if you have any questions, feel free to email the office, which is contact@internationalcpi.com. I just put that in the chat, contact@internationalcpi.com. If you have questions, feel free to email us. We answer every email. Give us a moment because sometimes we get flooded, so it might take us a day or two, but we do answer every email. And I would love to get to know you better and help you on the day of healing. And with that, my friends, if you're new here and you have not yet downloaded my free copy of my book, this is a great thing to do before the day of healing to get your mind right. It's a short book, but it's powerful and it's got exercises in here. So if you have not done this yet, go to internationalcpi.com/free gift and download the book. Or if you're not a reader, and look, I understand some people just won't read, there's a video for you to watch, a masterclass. Watch that and then come to the day of healing. You'll be better prepared. And if you don't have time for any of that, don't stress. You'll get what you need on the day of healing. Just don't stop, because I know it's discouraging. Many of you are here, you're probably this close to saying, I give up. I don't want you to give up. I was ready to give up. I was ready to swallow an entire bottle of pills and say, exit stage left. I'm not kidding. That's where I was at. It was dark. Had I done that? Oh my God, I had no idea what the very next day of my life was going to begin. No clue would I have ever thought that fast forward, I'd be here with you all today with any of this to share, with any success story of any kind. It's still mind-boggling to me what's possible. So if there's nothing else to hear today, it's don't give up hope. Whether it's with me or not isn't the point. Take some action that feels right to you. Just do something, because your feelings follow your actions. Don't sit around and wait to feel better and then I'll do something. It doesn't work that way. Feelings follow the action. So with that, I thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for being here, and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, wherever you live in the world. Come back again. Reach out if you have questions or if I can help you in any way. And remember who you are. Much love, everybody. Bye for now. Hey, why don't we all unmute and say goodbye to each other? Everybody unmute.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye.
Much love and gratitude.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
You are fantastic.
Bye,
You are
everyone.
fantastic.
Nice to meet everybody.
Thank you.